Again, thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Mike Irena. I'm joined today by my colleague Scott Magno, and this is today's edition of Prokeep 101, getting started or refreshing your skills. Just some quick housekeeping items as we go to the next slide here. A reminder that this webinar is recorded and we'll be sending the recording of today's webinar out in a follow-up email to you all so that you can refer back to anything we talked about today. All attendee lines are muted upon joining, but we still want to hear from you all. Please feel free to use the Q&A option on your Zoom window at the bottom there to submit any questions. We'll be getting to those questions in the Q&A portion at the end of the presentation. And yeah, we're excited for this one. A lot of good stuff to talk about today. As we go to the next slide, I'll throw things over to my friend Scott here. And Scott, take it away.
Mike, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I appreciate all of you making time for this Prokeep 101 Refresh Your Skills webinar today. All right, I'm really excited about Prokeep. I hope that you are too. This is really geared to help you and your teams out if you're representing people at your location. So we really want to ensure that by the time that we're done with this, you've learned something or that you've been reminded of something. So please, I encourage you, as Mike said, please, put some questions there in the chat. And I definitely want to make sure that by the time we're done with this, you all and your team, all of the attendees here can be extremely invigorated and excited about Prokeep. All right, so Prokeep, without getting too deep into what Prokeep is, I like to keep it simple. It's a two-way communication tool that provides a seamless way to engage with you and sell to your customers. So this is something that's really what we're really proud of here at Prokeep. We've got so far 6,000 plus branches, centralized communications, and growing sales with the Prokeep platform. These are pretty impressive numbers. I think it's really nice to know that we've got so far over 6 billion orders placed through Prokeep, over 11 million customer interactions, over 1 million contractors engaged, 40,000 daily users and growing. This is significant if you think about all of the phone calls that you make, all of the emails that you send, the number of times that customers come into the counter and into your shops, but how all of that can be somewhat eliminated, but definitely streamlined, and the time that you're saving if you are utilizing the channels here within Prokeep. All right. So let's talk about a couple of use cases. Those of you might be familiar already, but I always like to share some of the great use cases about how some of our partners are utilizing Prokeep to really kind of demonstrate the value that Prokeep can deliver to you and your team. Now, this first example here is a stock inquiry. We know that a picture is worth 1,000 words, but being able to take a picture and send it in to a number that your customers are already familiar with is going to be a much better option than having to explain what something looks like using measurements and all of this stuff in your head. And then, of course, being able to add on to that as well. It's a time saver. You're definitely going to improve the order accuracy and prevent errors. But the value that we're going to bring is improve efficiency and, of course, giving that contractor a better customer experience. All right, now the next one is going to be a list or a picture order. This again will save time, create upsell opportunities, gives you a better view of what the project is going to entail. It also gives you the option to even think about maybe some other options that could have even some better margin, something that could be in stock that you've got, something that could be even better suited to help your customer out. Again, providing a better customer experience, growing sales, definitely for sure here, and improving efficiency. All right, being able to text in information or a diagram of the technical specifications is going to be a huge time saver as well. Being able to not take 2 hours in an email turnaround to do that is even better. This is going to let you know exactly how to troubleshoot this for those of you who are more on the technical side. And then, of course, again, streamlining that process to your customer by being able to text them that wiring diagram. That is something that you typically have to put in an email, but it's very, very easy to put these into a text message, and you're going to do it in a fraction of the time. Better customer experience and improved efficiency. All right. Now, you don't have to wait for your customers to text in as you log into Prokeep every day. Being able to send a quick order update, letting them know it's ready to pick up, and asking if there's anything that we need to add is going to take you probably 25 to 30 seconds, okay? This is a great way to let your customers know without interrupting their day that things are ready to go, improving your productivity, not having to pick up the phone, not having to leave a voicemail, and your customer gets a better customer experience and also instant gratification, right? And then we also have the digital record here as well. That's what I love about Prokeep, is that we know that at 10:22 a.m. that communication was put out. And if sometimes it's not just you that needs to know that. It has to be your delivery drivers, your shipping, or your dispatch agents as well. All right, so those are the use cases. I hope that they've kind of somewhat resonated with you all. Some of you that are already utilizing Prokeep, this is familiar with, but also at the end of the day, you kind of see how other locations are utilizing the platform as well. Now, the value that we stated here in each of these use cases are the following. Being able to increase sales, provide a better or an improved customer experience, and then of course having greater productivity and visibility. Increasing sales, that's a great proposition there for you or anyone on your team, but especially your leadership. You're easier to do business with when you can have a streamlined communication method, right? You're quicker to respond, and the relationships that you continue to build will definitely lead to more sales. Being able to recommend additional items for your customer's job and creating upsell opportunities is of the essence. And then not to mention, we know that if you do your due diligence and you are in Prokeep a lot, you're doing all your best practices, adding contacts, then it makes it much easier for you to utilize the platform to market monthly promotions or sales via the use of the broadcast text messaging component. And then, of course, that's going to lead to a better customer experience. It makes it easier for everybody if because we know that everyone is texting, right? Being able to send quotes and orders via text, to receive photos and send things like exploded views or wiring diagrams via SMS, this is going to really give you a great opportunity to eliminate the hold times for your customers. If they know that they can text in and get a quick response or even a quicker response that even contains more information, it's going to be a better customer experience, not just for your customers, but also for you and your team. And that's going to lead to greater productivity and, of course, visibility. These conversations are all saved and organized in Prokeep. You always can save time as well by sending pickup and delivery and order confirmation text messages in a fraction of the time. We're going to do a little bit of that today. And then, of course, being able to schedule and confirm upcoming deliveries is just going to make you more efficient, increasing your productivity. And then, of course, the visibility of all of these communications are not just for yourself, but for everybody on your team. All right, now, this is what we're going to cover today through a walkthrough. We're going to take you through my Prokeep demo to make sure that you can have a good understanding of how Prokeep and how it works. We're going to review essential features that are going to really lean into the values that we bring there. Now, everyone on this call should most likely be utilizing Prokeep already. If you have not, please definitely get with us offline. I want to ensure that everyone on this call has the ability or has their login credentials, because we want to make sure, or our expectations are that once you're done going through this webinar, hopefully you're going to be pretty excited to utilize Prokeep immediately. Now, using Prokeep, let's talk about that inside of my demo here. Okay, now this is what Prokeep is going to look like when you log into a Chrome browser. You can also access Prokeep there at your desktop on Firefox and also Microsoft Edge. And most of you on this call as well, you might even be accessing Prokeep on the mobile application. For this walkthrough, we're going to show you Prokeep and cover the top 3 icons here on the left, okay? We've got the inbox, which is here second, which is where you're going to land when you log in. We're going to talk about the contact list here. And then we're going to talk about utilizing the create icon here to create an outbound proactive message. So we're going to kind of cover these through here in this demo. Now I'm going to play the person at the counter, and we're going to see that somebody has just texted in, because the message will start here and originate from the inbox in the unclaimed up for grabs area. This is a shared inbox here. So everyone on your team will see the messages here when they come in. When the message comes in, you're going to get a visual confirmation, both with a circle icon here next to the inbox and the unclaimed box. You see the message here, and you can even click on it for a preview. You're also going to get an audible notification when the speaker hits the inbox there through the speakers of that counter computer. And then you're also going to get a pop-up notification on the lower right-hand side if you've navigated away from this tab or if you have the browser minimized. Now, I see that this is a customer requesting a quote. Now, whenever you receive a text message from a customer from an unknown number or a number that doesn't have any contact data added to it yet, you're going to get the option to create the contact or block this. You're going to hit that block button if you see that it may look like spam. It's asking you about your car's warranty, or maybe about your, getting a home loan or something like that. Let's go ahead and block that so that no more spam will reoccur from that phone number. In this case, I know that this message has come from a customer because it's relevant to doing business at my shop. We also see that Prokeep has sent an automated message, one of two, letting the customer know immediately that it has been received at my location. Now, when we claim this thread, a couple of different things happen. Prokeep sends an automated message letting the customer know that it's been received again. And you'll also note that up here, as I refresh, that this message is no longer in the unclaimed up for grabs inbox. It's moved over to the second section, which is the open or active threads. Okay, so now that the thread is active and open, I'm going to review it here. Now, everyone will still have visibility of the same conversation, even though I claimed it, but they're just going to see it in a different place. And then this thread will continue to notify me when the customer replies. Now, let's go ahead and add contact data to this customer's name. We want to do that as a best practice, okay? So let's go ahead and ask their name here. Can I get your name and account by utilizing one of these customizable stock messages? And then once I get that information from them, it makes it real easy to fill this out. So we'll see here that the customer has replied, and we know that they have because we get another series of notifications, both visually here in the application, another audible notification through the speakers here, and I can click on this message here. And once you do that, you're telling Prokeep that you put your eyes on that, and so those notifications are going to stop. All right, so I've got the information. I've got the information here. This is John Lane at AB. Now I can go ahead and create the contact. Now, this is great because you're adding this contact data to your database here, and it's going to autofill the phone. You can put as much information that you want to put in here. This is going to be extremely critical to do this early and often, because when we add this contact data, it's going to start to generate a history with the customer. Okay, it's going to be easy to be proactive in Prokeep, meaning that we can utilize Prokeep for those order updates that I mentioned earlier if we have a name in Prokeep instead of having to cross-reference a phone number in my ERP or CRM. Plus, now when John Lane texts into your location, you will have their name, their company, any of the associated information listed up here in the header at the beginning of every message. All right. Let's get to the work, which is looking at the picture. Now, they've sent in a picture of this nameplate here. We have the ability to zoom in. We can annotate this or download this as well. But I think in this example, I've got the information that I need, the model number, perhaps even the serial number. Now I can get to work on this now. So I'm going to go ahead, let the customer know by using this customizable stock message. Got it. I'm working on it now. And then I can continue doing my quote. I can make sure that it's in stock, and then I can give the customer the price. $400 out the door by texting into this text box here. I even have the ability, if I've downloaded this quote, to take it from where I've downloaded it and drag it and drop it into this area. So from My desktop, I just clicked on the file, dragged it and drop it over. I can even copy and paste a file and throw it into the text message, or I can also use the attachment tool, something all of you most likely are already familiar with via email, and I can attach files like that as well. So that exploded view, that wiring diagram, maybe an installer's manual in PDF format, these are items that I can easily attach into Prokeep, up to 5 megabytes, and send very quickly. So you'll see here that if you send a picture, if you send a file, you're going to get either a picture preview, you're going to get this little link that they can also click on, and this will open up on the customer's phone. And there it is, 8 pages of an installer's diagram. I really like to demonstrate this here because this is important. We know that your customers have the need for this type of data, for these types of files, but being able to send them via text message right there from your counter computer is going to be a really great way to be efficient and to definitely kind of elevate the level of customer service that they might be used to getting. All right, we're done with the conversation. So I am going to go ahead and thank the customer for their business. And then we're going to want to close this thread. We can do that here under the close conversation, or we can do it up here in the upper right-hand side. Very, very important as a best practice that you want to make sure you're closing the conversation. This ensures that John Lane's next conversation is going to start again from the unclaimed up for grabs inbox here. This is important because if you were to leave threads open, then that could be problematic. If I go to lunch, if I step away, if the customer were to text in, it's going to only continue to notify one person. And that's the person who has ownership of the thread. So you want to make sure, especially if you're done with the conversation, it's come to its natural end, or if you got to step away, let's go ahead and close the thread. Now, you might be thinking that you want to leave your threads open so you can go back. Well, no problem. We can go ahead and review all of your recently closed threads in the closed thread section here. You also have the ability to go back and review all the closed threads at your location's account. So not just yours, but everyone else's. You will have access and visibility of those as well here. And then we are ready to go again. So we took care of the customer. We added the contact data. We sent them a quote and even gave them an installer's manual. And then we closed the thread. I'm ready to go again. There's nothing sitting in the unclaimed area. And there's nothing here in the open threads. But again, we want to ensure you that you're going to get immediate value from Prokeep, not just by waiting for your customers to text in, but by adding your customer database and being proactive. We know that you probably see up to 10 or 20 customers a day that come in, maybe even more that call in. But being able to text them proactively to let them know that the orders are ready is really, really a great way to be efficient and save time. Well, let's go ahead and do that now by clicking on the outbound creation tool at the top. We're going to select an outbound message to our customers. Again, we've made it easy for ourselves. I don't have to go and look up a phone number. I can simply just start typing the customer's name. And we can even utilize templates that your managers and leadership create in order to make the process even quicker and adding more value to that by even adding the quote that we did earlier. Now, if you have been counting, that probably took me about 25 or 30 seconds to do. And I want to leave you with that because this is a process that typically from phone call or an email could take a little bit longer. But if you are organized and within your workflow, if you are adding contacts into Prokeep and you've got designated folders for quotes, PDFs, estimates, all of these things, as I know that you probably do, it makes it very, very easy to utilize Prokeep proactively. And at the end of the day, if the customer needs more information, if they need to add on, then they're going to go ahead and text back and let you know. So let's say that the customer asks us if they can do some sort of shipping plan or they need a price on something else. The great thing about Prokeep is the transparency and the ability to collaborate. So I can take this thread right now. If the customer were to ask me about something else, you might have someone else on your team that might be better suited to take care of that question. So you have the ability within Prokeep by clicking on the ellipses here, and you can select transfer. This gives you the ability to collaborate internally with your team. My shipping manager, Ryan, is logged in the warehouse, and I'm going to go ahead and select transfer, look up Ryan's name, and then I'm going to say, can you check on this for John Lane? This internal message is only visible by you and your team members in Prokeep, and then you can transfer this away. This is great because now ownership has been transferred to your associate, right? You still have visibility of that conversation down here, right? So you can still even follow along. You can still even reply. You can interject. You can collaborate. Anyone who's logged into Prokeep that might have some insight to share regarding an order can go ahead and connect with the customer as well. So again, it's a really great way for you to collaborate with your team. We've got a little drop down for that internal message here. And Ryan, my associate, can also even load the previous thread here. So they can go back, get all of the information that they need, and review this accordingly. So again, a really great tool to be able to be proactive, but also to be able to transfer threads to specific individuals on your team. Now, you may have noticed that whenever I was going to transfer this, there was a little box that said, keep me in the loop. You do have the ability to turn on notifications for any open conversation, regardless of ownership, by going back to the ellipses and clicking the turn notifications on. This is extremely helpful if you have some customers that you need to coordinate with in order to get the pricing right, or to change the quote, maybe even to coordinate a shipping or delivery. So I might need to do that with John Lane. I want to ensure that we've got everything that we need before I press the button on the sale. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the notifications on. Doing so will notify me whenever the customer replies, as well as Ryan, who has ownership of this thread. So you can have multiple people and have notifications on as long as you turn the notifications bell on for that open conversation. If everything's good to go and this is done, I can just turn that notification off, and I can even close the thread as well. Regardless of ownership, you all have the ability to go through Prokeep and make sure that everyone is, again, utilizing the best practices and closing their threads in a timely manner. All right, and look at that. Prokeep even tells me that's a good job. A clean inbox helps keep you focused on your customers, get the best service. Couldn't agree more. All right. So hopefully this has, generated some curiosity, or hopefully it's a good refresher or reminder for most of you. And that's the inbox. Again, we claimed some threads. We closed the thread. We were proactive. We created an outgoing message in 30 seconds or so. And we were able to transfer that message to one of our associates to go ahead and get that collaborative effort to ensure that we've got great customer service going on. I want to go ahead and talk next about the contact list here. This is really an amazing section. It's probably one of my favorite outside of being proactive, and it's the contact list. When we click on this, this is going to contain all of your customers, all of the companies that you do business with will all be contained here. Also, every single text message communication will be saved, searchable, and organized in the contact list as well. Honestly, this turns into a CRM at this moment. And it's really, really a great way to go ahead and look up your customers, right? You can look at the details of their information. If there are any notes that we need to add in here to share with anybody else on your team, we have the ability to add notes in here, right? More information is always going to be better. Maybe we need to add a label. Maybe this is an HVAC or an electrical customer, or both. All of the information that's contained in here is going to be shareable and visible by everybody on your team. So I really, really enjoy, being able to kind of put as much information into this area as possible. And then, of course, we can log activities, much like a CRM. And then the good stuff, all of the threads in perpetuity, every conversation will be listed here. It's a really great way to not have to write everything down on that notepad by the telephone. Yep, I see you. You've got a notepad by your phone right now. You know what? If you put it in Prokeep, you can go back to it, but not just you, everyone else on your team as well. All right, so that's the contact list. I want to talk about how we're going to populate it as well. Now, managers on this call, within your settings tab here, you have the ability under your people and users you can conduct a customer import by downloading a document and then putting all of your contacts, names, companies, account numbers, etc., cell phone, all on this Excel document and uploading it into Prokeep. That's a great way to save time and to populate your database. You can also add them individually. So those of you on this call who have a customer right now on your cell phone, go ahead, log into Prokeep, navigate to the contact list, hit that plus sign, and then go ahead and add your customer in here. It's good to do this whenever you can, but the best time to do it is exactly when a customer has just texted you on your phone. Rather than to reply to them on your phone, go ahead and add them into Prokeep, check the send welcome message box, hit submit, and then go ahead and navigate to the upper right-hand side and create a thread directly and continue the conversation within Prokeep. This is a great way to take them off of your personal cell phone if you desire to, and put them right into Prokeep. And that's the great thing, is because it's going to come from your name. They know your name. It's going to probably most likely come from a phone number they already have saved in their phone. But then you've just given this message and that phone number priority over your personal cell phone, and then you can do business as well. The great thing about that, as you know, is that Tim Franks is not just going to get me at that number, it's going to get everybody on your team. So now you can take vacation without being interrupted by your customers. All right, you'll also note here that we sent a welcome message to Tim when we added that contact by checking that box. Hi, Tim Franks. Your supply company, Pensacola, has just enabled texting. You can now send text and pictures to this number. Try it out by responding to this message. So again, as you add your contacts, go ahead and check that box. This is going to be a really great way to add to your database. And then, of course, again, ensuring that you can strengthen those relationships with your customers and being reachable there at that direct Prokeep branch landline number versus your own personal cell phone. All right, so we have covered creating an outbound message. We talked about the process and the workflow of claiming a message in the inbox, the open and active threads and the closed threads. And we've also done an overview about the contact section here. I am going to leave it there in terms of the features on the front side, but I would like to share in your settings that you've got some really good stuff in your settings as well. Within your preferences, if you look here, the stock messages that I created for myself on my account are customizable here in my preferences. We highly recommend that you create one that says, can I get your name and company account? Some of you who are utilizing Prokeep this morning may have seen that when you close a thread, it doesn't have any contact data added to it. We're going to send you a little reminder to do so. And that's because of the importance of adding that contact data. But to really help with that process, creating one of those stock messages to say, can I get your name and company account is a really great idea as well. You'll also notice in your preferences that you can modify your desktop notifications or activate email notifications. We've got a couple of different themes here, some internal language selections or options in the UX here, and then of course some templates that you can that your managers can create to make available for you to utilize whenever you are composing a thread or whenever you are in an open conversation. The last thing that we want to show you is extremely important as well, and this is the support and feedback section. Now, from here, if you need to reach out to our support team, we want to be able to provide the phone number and email. We also want to provide a feedback loop to our product team. This is really, really important because we are a customer-driven company. So we've got a lot of features that are on the roadmap and a lot of features that we've added in the past 2 or 3 years as a result of the feedback that we get from you, our partners. So, please, I encourage you to continue giving us this great feedback to help improve your experience and to really help you be more successful with Prokeep and generate sales. But the last thing I wanted to show you is in the Help Center. When you click on the Help Center, our Knowledge Base Help Center opens up here. It has a lot of very good resources for you to click on. Articles to talk about that talk about adding contacts, adding new users for your managers out there, and then of course tips and tricks and even links to some really great videos and our famous YouTube channel. What I want to leave you with today is going to be searching for a specific message or specific article about automating your Prokeep daily login. As you've seen on this webinar, that Prokeep is a very powerful tool, but ensuring that you make it part of your everyday routine is easier done when you can automate your Prokeep daily login. When you click on this article, there are a couple of steps to create a desktop icon, this little Prokeep logo, to make sure that you can just click on that and log into Prokeep in its own designated browser every morning. If you are a little bit extra out there like myself, I like to go ahead and utilize step 2 to make Prokeep start up automatically whenever you log into your computer. So definitely remember those 2 steps. Go ahead, feel free to take a screenshot if you want to, and we will include that in the follow-up as well. Highly important that you remember that. Okay. That is the walkthrough, folks. We're going to leave you with the best practices. These are the ABCs for success. Some of you in the sales industry, in the sales business, this might already be familiar with you. ABC, always be closing. It's a real easy way to remember some of the best practice that we covered on this walkthrough today. Always capture names for contact creation. Check. This is going to allow you to develop the database. This is going to turn Prokeep into a CRM. It's also going to allow you to target them or create lists when you start talking about broadcast promotions and generating sales in that format. And then, of course, A always leads to B. Be proactive by sending out messages. It's easier to do that once you've done A there. And then, of course, claiming and closing threads. That's the essential part of managing Prokeep in a timely manner, staying efficient, and then ensuring that your customers can have confidence whenever they text because they see that the wheels are in motion, and it just really gives heightens the level of customer service that you're able to provide. All right, don't forget, you can create templates for commonly sent messages to save time. Tags are very important as well to be able to put PO numbers, keywords like urgent, red label, VIP. All of your customers are VIPs, but you also have the ability to add tags to every specific thread conversation. Assigning contact labels as well. I kind of touched on that when we created our customer Tim Franks for HVAC. Is a really great way, again, to put as much information as you need to share visibility in Prokeep. And then, of course, utilizing internal messaging and transferring threads is a great way to collaborate conversations or coworkers at your branch as well as other branches. This deck is going to have all of these tags here. They're going to be clickable links. So we want to make sure that you all have the ability to kind of learn more about each of these fantastic, extra credit features as well. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Mike.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott. That was an awesome display there. A lot of great learnings shared. Want to get to the Q&A portion here. I can see that we have a lot of you engaged and a lot of great questions in here. I want to make sure we get to everyone. So, Scott, we had talked about outbound messaging a little bit in the presentation. One question here comes with, is there a code or number customers can text to get signed up for text messages? I think there is a great solution there that I think we alluded to a little bit earlier, but please feel free to talk about that.
Oh yeah, for sure. So absolutely. So we do have the ability in our knowledge base, we have access to some marketing, a marketing section here. And within this article here, everyone who blogs into Prokeep has access to this. But this is a really great way. Oops, I think I may have clicked on the wrong one. My apologies, folks. Marketing materials and tactics. All right. So in terms of generating some interest into Prokeep, the best way to do it, honestly, is to be proactive. We know that every customer that you engage with over the phone and at the counter, it's really easy to have Prokeep in and just add their contacts, send them a welcome message, or any customer who might be tying up a lot of time on the phone. It's easy for us to say, yeah, go ahead and just be proactive in Prokeep. However, we also know that your customers also like to, kind of work. They might it might be easier for them in certain other ways as well. So being able to have flyers or have QR codes, all of this is accessible to you, anyone on our Prokeep team, by navigating to the marketing materials and tactics page here. We've got a Prokeep marketing starter kit here that's has a lot of great examples of PDF flyers. It has examples of contests that you can run, website signatures, social media concepts. It's an amazing tool. One of the ones that Mike and I are very fond of is the QR codes. You know, being able to include those in your, every flyer that you have, digital marketing, social media, being able to include that everywhere. We like to go ahead and give you the tools to create a text-us icon via HTML on your web page. And then, of course, we have a QR code creator as well. A link to a specific one that we recommend is also included in this marketing toolkit. So, Mike, I wanted to kind of make sure that we shared that here. I wanted to give you your shout out too. That Mike does a really great job. He and his team do a great job of providing this information, putting this together to ensure that you can make it real easy for your customers to remember that they can expect to receive text messages from you, and save a lot of time by text messaging into that branch line number as well.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate the shout out. And as Scott had mentioned, a lot of tools in the toolbox to utilize there. We love sharing them with you all, and always happy to help there. I want to make sure we get to all of these questions here. I'm going to phrase this as kind of like a two-part question. As far as, can you transfer a message to another user, and can a customer get notified when a thread of theirs is closed? I think we did speak about this a little bit earlier, Scott, as far as some of the actions you can take when routing threads to use groups, but please feel free to speak on that.
Sure, absolutely. So if we have an open thread here, we do have the ability, of course, to transfer a thread to a specific individual on your team. And everyone maintains visibility of that. So that transfer, if we were to create an outgoing message here to John Lane again, then I'll go ahead and just demonstrate that. I want to make sure that we've answered that question. I'm going to go ahead and send the gym is on their way update. So again, this is an open or active thread. So we do have the ability to transfer this thread to any individual by clicking on the ellipses there. But for a lot of you on this call as well, you might have multiple locations within your supply family. So even we can select individuals here to transfer to, and these are going to be Prokeep users on your team. You also have the ability to transfer these to the Miami location. We also have these transfer this to the Tallahassee location. I don't know why you would though, because there's a much better location in Gainesville, but that's where I choose to transfer mine to. But either way, you do have the ability to transfer to an individual. You do have the ability to transfer to specific locations if you have multiple locations that are also Prokeep users within your company's locations or family. Now, going back to the moment that you talk about closing a thread. So if I understand the question correctly, is the customer notified that a conversation has been closed? And the answer is no. There is no automated notification to let your customer know that any conversation has been closed. That's a really good conversation, or a really good question rather. And I encourage you to add yourself as a contact, and text your personal cell phone via Prokeep so you can see how it presents from the customer's point of view. At the end of the day, the customer doesn't know anything really about Prokeep. Maybe they do because you've included it kindly in your marketing, but to your customer's point of view, keep in mind, they're just texting to a contact that they have saved in their phone. So it's going to present the same way. They don't need to download any sort of application. They're going to be texting that counter like they're texting to your personal cell phone, except bonus, they're going to get everybody else, and you're going to be able to include quotes and all of that stuff. Let me know if that answers your question. Again, I want to ensure that that's what you meant regarding a closed conversation and your customer's visibility.
Perfect. Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome.
I know we're about to come about time here, but I want to get to this last question while we still have a second here. Where the info on a link to text from our web page is located. Scott, I think we had mentioned this on that marketing kit. Right way ahead of me. There we go. Shared earlier. There was the website add-on section, I think, that you had shared there. One of my favorites as well. As you can see here, there's that code towards the bottom that you can slap on your website. That'll allow that button for site visitors to click to be able to text you. Good question there.
Love it. Fantastic. And we all know as Facebook users in 1998 that HTML is really exciting. We want to ensure that if it's not you on this call, that your IT person or your managers, we want to ensure that we can help, bring awareness and continue to increase awareness with Prokeep. So if there is something within this toolkit, and maybe Mike, we can include it in the follow-up email, maybe a link to it, that'd be awesome. But sure. If there's something else that you all need, again, we really want to let you all know that we want to have these conversations with you. So if there's a better way, a better tool, a better marketing, I wish Prokeep did this. It's really, really important, and we really appreciate that feedback, as it just helps us continue to develop the product into something that you can be even more effective with.
Perfect. Agreed there. And Scott, to your point, I will make sure that we include that marketing kit in the follow-up email to you all. Definitely see a great amount of help that could help with there. But yeah, just to wrap things up here, thank you, Scott. Just a reminder on some of the resources and support available to you all. As you can see here, if you have any sort of questions, support@prokeep.com, as well as the Knowledge Center training and best practices resources that we have. All of this you can find at the Help Center page that Scott was sharing earlier. Thank you again to everyone for joining. This has been a great session, a lot of great questions. And thank you to Scott for sharing a lot of awesome learnings here. Excited to be with you all. Be sure to stay around for the next one of these, and we'll be seeing you all then.